We have big news coming out of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruling today in a way that conservatives see as a very positive thing for the country. They want to make sure that those who are registered to vote but are not here in the country legally cannot actually vote in this election. I mean, hey, I'm going to go out on a really crazy limb and say, isn't that controversial? I mean, you're illegal and you can't vote in the election. Oh my gosh, heaven forbid. I mean, that's how crazy this thing is, because when I go and look at all the headlines, and I looked at all of them today, I'm like, why are they presenting it like this? Read this headline, you guys. Supreme Court allows Virginia to purge voter rolls ahead of election. So they're flipping out, they're freaking out in the mainstream media. How dare they purge the voter rolls of people that aren't here legally? Like, that's the punchline. They're not telling you that. They're just giving you, oh my gosh, they want to remove people from the voter rolls. I mean, Texas went and did this. They got rid of nearly 1 million people that were there that had moved out of Texas, or that maybe were not in the country legally. I mean, I don't know how you could possibly expect to vote, or why the Democrats are expecting people to vote if they're not here legally. Sharing with you from the NBC News story, the Supreme Court allowed Republican officials in Virginia to revive a plan aimed at removing non-citizen voters from the rolls ahead of next week's election. See the way that's written? The way that Supreme Court on Wednesday allowed Republican officials in Virginia to revive a plan aimed at removing non-citizen voters from the rolls ahead of next week's election. Duh! I mean, of course you should be removing non-citizens from the voter rolls ahead of the election. Shouldn't that be kind of obvious? But apparently it's not, because you're not allowing some people to vote. Anyway, in this case, basically the Republicans were like, gee, if you're not a citizen, maybe you shouldn't be on our voting rolls. How is this controversial? In all seriousness, I'm like, what kind of alternative universe are we living in? Anyway, Supreme Court came out today and said, yep, basically you are going to be able to take these people off of the voter rolls. Thank goodness. Here's Glenn Youngkin, smart guy, business background. I like that. He's the governor of Virginia. Let's listen to him earlier on Fox today talking about what a win this is. Heaven forbid.
Your reaction to this Supreme Court decision?
Well, Brett, it's a big win for common sense and for the Constitution. I'm, of course, very pleased with the Supreme Court's ruling, and it affirms the fact that the process we're going through, in fact, isn't a purge. This is a process that we've been using for 18 years. When someone walks into a DMV, they identify themselves as a non-citizen. They have ended up on our voting rolls either by happenstance or by purpose. We go through a very clear process. You get a notice, you get 14 days to affirm you're a citizen, and if you don't, you come off the voter rolls. And of course, in Virginia, we have the ultimate fail-safe that you can same-day register and cast a provisional ballot. So everyone who is a U.S. citizen in Virginia can vote, and I encourage everybody, go vote. But this is a win for common sense and a win for the Constitution today.
You've heard.
And yet, when you read the headlines, it's as though it's a bad thing. I mean, they're all worked up about this. No, we don't want people that aren't actually citizens and taxpayers in this country voting in our elections. Right? We don't actually want people coming in illegally. Dare I say that? I mean, can't you be for immigration, but against illegal immigration? This is a crazy upside down world. I mean, I never considered myself that far right. I really didn't. I'm kind of like, I'm a pretty level-headed person. I'm sort of middle of the road, but I'm like crazy right, apparently. You're crazy right if you actually think that non-citizens should be purged from the voting rolls. You're crazy right if you actually think the Electoral College still matters. You're crazy right if you think you shouldn't call half the population garbage. I mean, this is crazy talk. I think we know who the crazies are here. Just saying, okay? I think we know.